social context technology. The social context and communication. Another very important thing that is present in a society is communication leads to use of technology. Now in social context, what things come up? In social context, we talk about, you know, the individualistic. Remember individualistic or collectivist approach? Remember? Individualistic and collective approach of dimensions we discussed in our classes on the second unit, that talks about Trompeniers as well as Hofstede's work on managing the on the various dimensions of culture. So there we discussed individualistic and collectivist culture. So what happens in a social environment which talks about individualistic attitude of people? Will it be different for technology? Yes, it will be different. And in collectivist countries, the approach towards technology will be different. Take a very simple example. See, all this, you know, automation, artificial intelligence, use of robots, all this thing has basically come up from all your countries where the manpower resource is less in number, or the human resource is less. Why so? Because they have less people to carry out the work, so therefore they worked more towards bringing about such technology which can help them to carry out their work. Whereas if you look at all the countries which have a collectivist approach, what happens in these countries? In these countries, human resources more. The number of people are more in the in the country, so therefore they use more of the human resource rather than going for technology. So this gives you a basic sense of why social context is important in bringing about use of technology in any organization, or you can take any nation, right? Now I hope this is clear by now. Let us now start our focus or discuss another important issue, that is what are the called technological determinism. Okay, technological determinism. That means technology determines social change. This was something given by a guy called Veblen in 1920s. Veblen in 1920s actually gave this idea that technology determines social change, which clearly emphasizes that, you know, first you have to understand there is a two-way relationship between technology and the social context. And we are, when talking about social context is actually which tells something about culture, isn't it? What is culture? Culture is values, beliefs, and assumptions that are shared by Society, or what is your group, whatever group you belong to, community belong to, country you belong to, it has a common value, belief and assumptions, which is the culture, and this culture describes the social context. Social context and technology, what we see, are influencing each other, right? So here we see these two things are influencing each other. Therefore, Veblen in 1920s said that technology determines the social change. Now, one of the most beautiful example of it is during this COVID-19, the use of online classes, right? You and I, we all are bound together right now because of online classes. Now, why are we having this online classes? We are having these online classes because we are in
technology era.
we are bounded by our four walls of the house, you know, where we are not supposed to move out. So here now we all people, even see, I never used Zoom, but it's the first time I learned how to use Zoom, and then I started taking classes. So why did I adapt to technology? Because of the
This became necessity.
social environment, right? On the contrary, this is how technology helped us in this social environment. Can you think of what will happen when we are, you know, once out of this situation? This technology is changing our social behavior, isn't it? It is changing the way we behave. And similarly, social context also is changing your technology. If you today, if you have observed today's news, there was a flash going on that in Tamil Nadu they are using robots to give medicines to patients of COVID-19. Yeah, robots are being used. See, when you use robots in such a condition, in this pandemic situation, the robots will not get virus because, you know, they are non-living. So definitely any such routine kind of activity which can be, you know, which can be carried out through robots is more secured as far as the transfer of virus is concerned. So all those activities, just to imagine, I was just thinking after that, see, we are all having problem because, you know, groceries are not available. You know, who will come and give groceries? Somebody comes and gives grocery. We have a problem of, you know, contacting virus from that individual, isn't it? So don't you think if we can use drones instead? Or we can use some other form of technology which can deliver products at people's place without use of human resource, so that the chance of transmission of virus can be reduced, right? So in this case, what is happening? The social environment is forcing the scientists to come up with a technology that can address the problem. Am I clear? So therefore, we have a vice versa relationship between technology and society. And this is what Veblen said when he said about, and when he coined the word actually, technological determinism, where he very much clearly focused that when we are talking of culture and technology, we need to focus on three aspects of an organization. Let us just look at what are the three aspects of an organization. They are your typical organization, the technology of the organization, and the culture of the organization. So when we discuss it at the level of organization, we need to focus on these things to better understand the relationship of culture and technology. Okay? Now let me move to... Okay. Now let us move to another aspect. Once this culture technology are working together, how do this influence, or rather, let me put it right this. How does this actually influence the HR? This is actually of prime importance for HR students. How culture in technology is influencing HR. The moment there is change in culture, the moment there is change in technology, we change recruitment and selection process. Am I right? When our organization goes for automation, isn't it? When we go for automation, we need our job specification changes. Once our job specification or competency of level changes, when there is change in competency of people, the recruitment selection needs to go through a change. You need to train and develop people in the particular skill area or in the area of competency. Your performance management system changes, and even your compensation changes, because the moment, see, all these 4 things will change as per change in competency of people, and the use of culture and technology will influence this. If you are going for change in culture of your organization, you need to train and develop people. During recruitment and selection, when you are looking for, person organization fit, when you are looking for person job fit, in both of these cases, you will have to go for what? You will have to go for different recruitment selection process. Hence, we see that the change in culture and technology influences the HR process as well, right? So next, let us move to something called, technological culture. Now, models of technological culture. When I talk about technological culture, it is mainly of 2 types. Reactive model and proactive model, right? When we are going for technological culture, it can be differentiated into 2 types. One is reactive model and the other one is proactive model. When we are talking of these 2 models, let us first understand what is reactive model. As the word reaction tells us, this is a culture which monitors the product defects. Monitors products defects. Whereas proactive model monitors products process. Now, in both these models, the organizations monitor the activity. Monitoring the activity differs. In case of reactive model, the people monitor defects. What happens when you are monitoring defects? When do you monitor defects? We monitor defects only in the final stage, isn't it? Suppose I am manufacturing a particular toy. So when the toy is in its final form, I check it and then I actually see that there is defect. So all those toys which are made, manufactured with errors are segregated, right? Whereas an organization which focuses on process of the production of the particular toy will actually be more holistic in nature. That means the whole process, that means the whole process is actually taken care of. Whereas in this case, only the final product is evaluated. So therefore, this important point actually differentiates reactive model and proactive model of technology. So once if our organization technology culture has to be, very efficient, if we want the system to be efficient and effective, we need to adopt proactive model of technological culture. So now let us focus at some of the more points that how we can describe proactive technological culture. Proactive technological culture. So what are the points of, importance in case of proactive technical culture? That is, first approach is prevention of defects. Prevention of defects. How prevention of defects? By monitoring the process. When you monitor a process, you are actually, preventing errors to happen. When you take proactive steps and you prevent errors, definitely your approach is going to give you better results. You are more prepared for the situation and you are preventing, this bad situation to come. One of the beautiful example is your lean management system. In your managerial skills class in first semester, I had discussed in your class something called lean management. I have been often discussing it. So lean management focuses on something called continuous improvement. All those organizations which opt for a proactive technological culture actually focus more on continuous improvement. That means they use more quality circles so that, and other initiatives, quality circles, total quality management initiatives, so that they can continuously work on improving their process of work. Third thing is they have a sustained HRD strategy. They have a sustained HRD strategy. Such organizations actually, you are aware of something. You have a paper on talent management, isn't it? So when we talk of talent management, the whole process very well takes care of HR strategy. That is, from your recruitment to compensation, all functions are properly taken care of in the organization. Another identifier of proactive technological culture is your customer satisfaction and customer integration. right? So that means these organizations which use proactive technological culture, they actually focus on the customer satisfaction. That is, you know, they take feedback from customers, or they give importance to feedback of customers on the product, its quality, its timely delivery, on other aspects of attributes of the particular product or services. And how do they do it? They use different mechanisms like statistical process control methods. They use various monitoring procedures so that they can get a clear picture of it, right? And next thing is process inspection. Whenever in these organizations, you know, there is an issue, there is a problem, they carry out a complete inquiry of the process to find out the flaws, rather than just finding out a flaw with a particular individual or a particular process at that point of time. So these are some of the attributes of proactive technological culture. So probably by going through, you can now just think that if an organization is using reactive technological culture, then definitely that organization is only looking for problems, searching for problems, and when problem comes up is trying to fix it at that point of time. But as the popular proverb goes, you know, prevention is better than cure. आज हम लोग अंदर क्यों बैठे हैं अपने घर के? Why are you sitting inside? Just to follow prevention is better than going to the hospital and, you know, going through the whole process of getting cured, and God knows how many will get cured or not. So therefore, using proactive technological culture. So now which organizations use this? Again, all organizations which use high performance work systems, which are highly productive and high technology they use, they normally adhere to proactive technological culture. Next, transition from reactive to proactive technological culture. All those organizations who are using technology and who are not using proactive technological culture are obviously falling in the domain of reactive technological culture. So how you as an HR person, suppose you get a case study in this place, suppose you get a case study of an organization which is using reactive technological culture, what suggestions will you make, what things will you capture and implement in the organization so that it goes for a proactive technological culture? Here, the first thing is the active participation of management. See, in organization change, and this can be beautiful example of organization change and development. When organization is trying to develop itself into proactive technological culture, and in OD classes we have discussed that participation or whole involvement of management is very important, so that the vision, mission, objectives organization builds up is based on on the model of proactive technological culture. The second thing is involve all levels. Now this is very crucial. That means you need to involve, it should not, see, when you are in a normal organization, there may be information for go from top to bottom, but whereas it talks about we need to involve all the levels in the process, right? The third thing is we need to so the third thing let us discuss is we need to study the existing system. Study the existing system. What do we study in the existing system? We study the operations. We study the activities, events, of the present system. Once we capture the present system, in the next phase, we carry out the transition process. In the next phase, we carry out the transition process. So what happens in the transition process? We take more of training. We talk about management support, management commitment. Another very important thing is coaching or mentoring. Okay, when we are moving for reactive to proactive, coaching or mentoring is very important by the people. And finally, integration. Integration means bringing everyone together. So now are you very much clear about how culture is related to technology? Okay, and the second important aspect is how you can transform or take a transition from reactive to proactive technological culture. Right now is a transition in technology. The culture needs to transit as well. That means the technology and culture fit needs to be taken care of when organizations are either involved in international collaborations, they need to take care of it. Okay, so with this we come to the end of the lecture, and I'll try to post you a case related to this in the later part. Any questions?
Excuse me,
Yes.
ma'am. Ma'am, please repeat this, ma'am. What you've told, there was some loss of connection on my side.
Which part?
Yes,
About
ma'am.
ma'am, this last slide.
Last
one.
Okay, the last slide. Yeah, in the last slide, I was talking about when there is merger, acquisition, or alliance of organizations. Organizations alliance takes place in form of joint ventures or in terms of FDI investments. Then, most of the FDI investments also carry with them technology. So, to succeed such organizations, as I mentioned here, the organizations need to work on something called technology and culture fit. They don't fit. When I'm talking of culture of the organization and the technological fit, definitely I am talking about competency. I'm talking about HR policies and practices. Whenever this whenever in this joint venture and alliances, technology transfer is involved, the organizations need to do a good homework on the competency requirement of people, and all the HR practices in that particular organization should be aligned towards competency, management of people. In other words, we can say talent management is something which is very important in these kind of organizations, right? So what the organization will do, it will develop its HR practices in such a way that it follows proactive technological model. Am I clear? So therefore, Ananya, whenever an organization is actually, suppose you are given a case study, suppose you are asked in a question, or you join as an HR person in an organization which is very techno savvy, or the, greatest competitive advantage of the organization is because of the technology it is using. In such organizations, developing proactive technological culture model is actually, a task for the HR person. Either your organization is merging into another organization which is going to change the technology that is being used, then the people who are going to work behind that technology need to be developed in such a way that they fit the technology. So as an HR person, you need to develop such programs, you need to take an initiative in the organization, starting from recruitment selection to see, because with change in technology, with merger, you cannot say bye-bye to all your old employees and go in for new employees. You can hire few critical people who are very essential for running the technology at that point of time, but you cannot revamp all your everything. So what you do here is you devise training practices so that you carry out with the change properly, and you adhere to all the measures that are needed to run a proactive technological model. And the big word for it is to monitor the process, because the moment you monitor, see, in lean management, which is very much used in Toyota industry is a beautiful example of lean management system. So Toyota, the beauty is they always focus on the process, not on the end product, because once the end product is out, you don't have an opportunity to rectify it. But if you focus in the process and you find a flaw in the process, you can change the process and all other things will line up accordingly. Okay, Ananya?
Yes, ma'am.